All right, shalom, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, I'm going to give all infinite praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Chakurash, and double honors to the apostles and elders, to the apostles and elders and elder bishops across the formers of the earth that puts in teaching the truth and salutations to the hopeful elect. So lucky for that. Coming back to you through the spirit of power, Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, and their lesson and exhortation, Lord's will. It's quick and edifying, straight to the point. Now, there's a lot that's going on. Corey, that's safe to say that there's definitely a lot going on in the world. It's uh a lot of events, a lot of persecution, a lot of chaos, and a lot of wars going on. All right. And so I could give me 1 second. We know that the last couple of days that Trump, he did his invasion upon Venezuela, right? He did invasion upon Venezuela, to receive their resources, their oil, say their land, and he kidnapped their president, took him to trial, found him not guilty, and now it's just what's about to happen now, or not even more talks of conquering and invading Greenland, and as well as Cuba, Colombia, it's just a lot of talks in the air of war and invasion, right? It is in these devils' blood. All they set in their spirits to do is to conquer, to rule, to take over. Because this man never stays at his house. He never stays home. Just to bring out that scripture real quick. Um, the book of Habakkuk, chapter 2, and verse 4. Starting at verse 4. Behold, his soul, which is lifted up in Slakia. His soul, behold, his soul, which is lifted up, is not upright in him. And the just shall live by but the just shall live by his faith. And this devil, he constantly, all while still persecuting, altogether the Israelites, right? The southern and northern kingdom, where ICE are these deportations and, saying detainees and, where they're, um, what to call it, honestly, with their war upon the people. You might as well call it that, war upon the people, because that's all it is. It's just war upon the American people. And that's what they're going to take your American people as well. They deem you, saying not fit of being in this country. They deem you to be taken out of here, to get sent out. It doesn't matter if you're it doesn't matter if you're a full-blown American, right? Homeborn American. If you don't look like it doesn't mean it doesn't matter if your family been here all their life or whatever. If you don't really, if it really is, if you don't care for this, for the rulership, you don't care for the government, you know, uh, you don't support it, you don't, what I'm saying, you don't stand 10 toes down behind this, this administration. Say they deem you as a traitor, as a treasonous, you know, you're not fit to be here in America, in the Edomite kingdom, right? Which is all, these devils want, is a Edomite kingdom, and all Edomite kingdom where it's just them. But yet, if anybody wants to be here in their kingdom, in their rulership, to be ruled under them and to do trade and, say do business and this and that, the third with them. You gotta, in the incoming days, when the time comes, you gotta take this mark. You gotta take this mark of the beast, right? You gotta take this as a sign that you must, right? They're gonna put it as a sign that you gotta take this in order to just be with us. If not, you shit out of luck, you know, and all that, that's the mandatory of the chip, and all that's going to happen in the midst of this wars that's going to take place upon the planet Earth, all around the world, right? The truths being gathered, various parts of the earth, you know, there's fighting amongst Venezuela ever since that whole ever since the whole invasion went down, the strikes went down, then the troops, the American troops taking the Maduro. And ever since then, it's just been fighting in the streets. It's just been people, running around with guns and taking it to the streets, man. They taking it to the streets, right? And then you got all types of tensions and everything is rising over there in Iran. And then, here go Trump and still talk about it, conquering more Greenland. Now, what about Greenland does Trump want? And ultimately, all these lands that Trump seek to conquer is one, strategic, right? Two, resources for sure. And three, because he has a prideful, he's the devil. He's of made of the devil that's around him. This man is leading this country downward, downward. This place is going down, man. It's not going up. Doesn't matter how many lands and resources this man conquered. It does not fucking matter. Because this place is destined to fall. This place is destined to fall. It is no other. It is no other way for it to be. It's not going to become great again as Trump prophesied for this place to be. This is not going to come to pass. But what's to come to pass of the destruction of this place? Matter of fact, um, damn. Look at it. Let me get this real quick. Salaki. Uh, kind of. The book of Zephaniah, chapter 3, and verse 8, straight to the point. Therefore, wait ye upon me, saith the Lord Yahweh, until the day that I rise up to the prey. That's why in the verse the fourth verse of Habakkuk chapter 2, what it says, but the just will live by faith, right? The just will live by his faith. Speaking of the Israelites here in the captivity, speaking of us, man, it's speaking of us who in these times we will live by faith. Because faith will be the only thing that we will have in these times, because we ain't going to have nothing else. Everything is going to be gone. The dollar finna go away. All the food and everything is tainted with it and all that shit. And let alone it's going to be a great famine amongst the earth, right? And the scripture also say that my servants shall eat. The Lord will make sure that his servants are taken care of in these last days. Continuing on. So I can read over Zephaniah 3 and 8. Therefore, wait ye upon me, saith the Lord Yahweh, till the day that I rise up to the prey. For my determination is to gather the nations, that I may assemble the kingdoms, to pour out upon them my indignation, even all my fierce anger. For all the earth shall be devoured with the fire of my jealousy. You see, that's upon every nation upon the planet. Every nation upon the planet that got their armies assembled, for the war that would take place in the Levant. in the Middle East. Verse 9, for then will I turn to the people a pure language, right? Speaking of the Hebrew language, that they may call upon the name, that they may call upon the name of the Lord Yahweh to serve him with one consent. And okay, you know, there's really nothing else to say about that. It explains itself. Cause you got cats out here that says that we don't have the name. They are false prophets. They lying straight through their teeth. But anyways, man, the main point I want to get is verse 8 when it says that my for my determination is to gather the nation. The Lord is determined to gather all these nations, is to judge them in the valley of Jehoshaphat, Yahweh Shaphat. That's the Levant, right? So the vision is yet for an appointed time for this time to come to pass real soon. And with this devil, the Lord got the spirit that the Lord got this devil in, man, is completely, this man is confounded in his own ways. You know, this man will be left confounded in his own ways in the day when the Lord comes back. All right, back to Habakkuk chapter 2 and now verse 5. Yea, also because he transgressed by wine, he is a proud man. This man is drunk off his own ways. He don't see that this is the Lord leading him down his own destruction. He is a proud man, neither keepeth at home. This man Trump, he's again talking about taking over Greenland now, as well as the surrounding countries of Venezuela. This man just ultimately want to take over the world, and ultimately it's not even him doing it. What's crazy is it's not him that is pushing this agenda. It's the elites. It's the elites that's want to push this. Because guess what? Another reason why the Trump administration even did that strike and you know that mission is because they didn't have Venezuela. They don't have a Rothschild controlled bank. They had their own bank. Matter of fact, let me do this real quick. Let me actually do this. Let's see. I look up what bank does Venezuela use, and this is what AI overview gives me. Venezuela uses its own national banking system. You see, overseen by the Central Bank of Venezuela, with a major commercial banks like state-owned Banco Banco, Banco de Venezuela, private institutes such as Benicio Marchento and BBVA Provincial, handling daily transactions for individuals and businesses. Anyways, you know what that says, man. They got their own bank. They got their own bank. Now, I'm trying to think. Let's see. Well, matter of fact, let me see if I can actually probably got a video I can play about it. Because, like I said, the Venezuelans, they never had, well, I would say never. Of course, they never had it because they've been having um, their own banking system, as I just read. But the reason why this whole operation, the takeover, went on was because they didn't have a Rothschild controlled bank. Again, I'm gonna try to find the video that's tied to that. There's a video that's tied to that. I'm gonna try to find it. And actually, matter of fact, I know exactly where it is. I know exactly where it is. Excuse me. Hmm. Bear with me. Bear with me. Bubble Kasha. Bubble Kasha. Bubble Kasha. Yeah, you're definitely a demon. Come on, man. Checking up. I'm trying to find it. I know it's somewhere. Damn it, man. I got it. I got it. It's man, come on. I can't find it. Yeah, it is what it is. If I can't, man, I ain't finna hold y'all up for that. You know, I ain't finna hold you up just because I can't find it. But it definitely was a video where it was going into that Venezuela didn't have no a Rothschild owned bank, and I was trying to find the name of that bank, but you know, like I said, it's on the video, and I don't want to try to waste your time and trying to find the video. So really, it is what it is. Yeah, it is what it is, man. But you know, all this is this the devil at work. Continuing on reading in verse 5, Habakkuk 2 and 5. Yeah, yeah. Also, because he transgressed by wine, he is a proud man. Neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desire as hell, and is as death, and cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations and heap unto him all people, man. So this man, he's gonna cause a lot of tension to build between the nations. Could the nations condemn this act between him and Venezuela, man? And you know what I'm saying, going back to Iran, he want to dip his nose into their problem where they got a protest going on, their dollar, their currency fell, and they're going through some, say economic crisis, man. You know what I'm saying? The same thing that's going to happen here. It's really the same thing that's happening, saying all over the place, saying in Britain and France, saying also down in some African countries. Listen, man, we've been warning y'all that all this shit gonna pass. Everything, all this stuff is gonna come to pass. The Lord is doing all of this. He finna set some real cruel judgment upon some people, man. And y'all gotta get your mind right for that. Where everything that's finna go on, a lot of our family, listen, a lot of our family members gonna start dying real fast. A lot of people finna start dying real fast in the streets. It finna be some deaths out here, man. There's no sugarcoating it. There's no sugarcoating it. It's finna be a lot of deaths and it's finna be a lot of killings. The Lord finna do a whole lot of killing here and on the earth. And not even just on the earth, here in Babylon the Great, where the main place, when the main judgment finna be. All right. What else? Excuse me. Go to the book of Jeremiah, chapter 50. I think that was this. Jeremiah 50 and verse 23. Yeah, verse 23. How is the hammer of the whole earth cut asunder and broken? How is Babylon become a desolation among the nations? Because they're getting ready to, condemn this damn place, man. They're getting ready to condemn this place because of its, you know, attitude. Thinking they're on top of everybody, man. Right? Because Trump, you hear the words of Trump. This man is a prideful ass demon, a prideful ass devil. All right. In verse 24, and I have laid a snare for thee, and thou art also taken, O Babylon, and thou was not aware, thou art found and also caught, because thou hast striven against the Lord Yahweh constantly, especially against, you know, I want to say especially, first and foremost, they transgressed against Yahweh Bashim Shai, first and foremost. But then they turn their attention towards the apple of his eye and been oppressing the shit out of Israel, man. Been oppressing us daily. And he's not letting up. So the Lord gotta put this man down. Right? Verse 25. Yahweh, uh, Yahweh have had opened his armory, Salakia. Yahweh have opened his armory and have brought forth the weapons of his indignation. For this is the work of the Lord Yahweh Tazaba'ath in the land of the Chaldeans. Come against her from the utmost border, open her storehouses, cast her up as heaps, and destroy her utterly. Let nothing of her be left. And that's when the missiles are going to come. The thermonuclear missile, 200 million of them. 200 million missiles are going to come with her and straight up drown this place in fire. The missiles are going to drown this place in fire. Nuclear fire, devouring fire, waste, evaporating fire. This fire is going to be one fire you don't want to get close to. Two, don't even want to get near. Because it's going to be so devastating to this place, man. It's going to be devastating to this place. Right? And remember the prophecy in the book of Revelation, chapter 17 and verse 16. And the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore. And not even just the 10 horns, the beast itself, right? The beast and the nations that's tied to it, and any other nation, every nation is going to cast their missiles upon this place, at least. Every nation. That's all out war. America is going to be done with, man. These shall hate the whore, and shall make her desolate and naked, and shall eat her flesh and burn her with fire. Why? For the Most High have put in their hearts to fulfill his will, and to agree and give their kingdom unto the beast, unto the words of the Most High shall be fulfilled. And the woman which thou sawest is that great city which reigned over the kings of the earth. Doesn't Trump boast themselves of America as saying that, we the best in the world, we had the best army, you know, it was one statement that he made with Marco Rubio in the speech where he said they were speaking of some object or some substance or whatever they was talking about getting, and he was saying that's meant for us, that is meant for us, right? This man really do feel entitled to everything that is considered as a reward, that considered to have value. This man is hell, man. I'm just bringing out some of the same scriptures, man. War was in his heart. He covered fields and take them by violence. And really, honestly, I don't really need to get that. Let me go ahead and get the scripture or the title and go ahead and on that. Because this devil, in his ways, and like I said, he's going to get caught up in his ways, man. The Lord going to checkmate this devil. The book of Job, chapter 20, and verse 23. When he is about to fill his belly, the Most High Yahweh, Alashadya, shall cast the fury of his wrath upon him, and shall rain it upon him while he is eating. And let's not forget to mention that it's especially chariots. It's popping up even more. You know, the sightings of the chariots, it's still ongoing, but it's becoming even more. Because a lot more people are starting to see, you know what I'm saying, starting to see the chariots more. Well, really, the chariots starting to show themselves more. The Lord is starting to allow the chariots, the Allahim, to show themselves a little bit more to let these devils know that their time is coming. It's their curse. You see? So, with that, I'm going to go ahead and end it. All right, Lord's will, y'all was edified through the spirit of power, Yahweh Shemel Shai. Until the next time, let's just shalom. Blah, blah, blah. Until the next, shalom.